So now up to this we covered what is default method. Next, how to write default method. Next, in the implementation class, how you can access. If you want, how you can override default method. Up to that clear. Next, we can't override object class method as a default method, right? Clear. Now there is one small problem will be there in the case of default methods with respect to multiple inheritance, because a class can implement any number of interfaces. From multiple interfaces to that class, the same default method came. Maybe a chance of ambiguity problem. Just what is the meaning? Let me explain with a small example. You can able to understand, right? Here just observe default methods with respect to multiple inheritance. Are you getting? With respect to multiple inheritance, there is some problem is there. How you can solve that problem? I will explain. Don't worry about that. Here I have interface left is there. I have an interface left and right. My favorite interface is right. Interface left. Now, sir, I am taking default void m1. Default void m1. System.out.println. Okay. Left default method. What is this one, sir? Left default method. Similarly, I am taking interface right. Yes, I am taking interface right. Next, default, okay, default void m1 method. Have you observed right interface also contain same signatures are default void m1. System.out.println right default method. Are you getting? Right default method. So how many interfaces I am taking? 2 interfaces. The first one left, which contain sir void m1. Of course, default void m1. Even right interface also contain same default void m1. 2 interfaces contain a default method with the same signature. Take special care, sir. Now I am writing class test implements, class test implements left comma right. Class test implements left comma right. Whenever I am implementing left and right, immediately compiler will give left and right, because the reason for that is, this m1 is coming from the left, this m1 is coming from the right. Sir, within this class, if I use m1, which m1 has to execute? Is it ambiguity problem or not? So that's why immediately compiler is going to tell unrelated. 2 default methods came from the parent interfaces. First, resolve this problem, like maybe a chance of ambiguity problem is going to come. First, observe the problem. How you can solve this problem? That part I will take care. Are you getting? So in the multiple inheritance, if a class implements multiple interfaces, okay, if 2 interfaces contain a default method with the same signature, then there may be a chance of ambiguity problem. Suppose by mistake here somewhere, if I call m1, which m1 method has to come? Sir, one m1 is coming from the left, another m1 is coming from right. Which m1 method I require to execute? Is it a problem or not? Yes, that's why. Sir, how you can solve this problem? First, let me execute and let me show the problem, right? First, have a look once. Here I am taking interface left. Sir, default void m1. System.out.println left default method. Similarly, interface right, default void m1, right default method right. Have you observed both interfaces having, do you know, same signatures are? Sir, this one and this one, if you observe, same signatures are available. Both contain same signatures, right? Okay. Here make sure same like. Now if I implement class test implements left and right, immediately compiler will give left and right. Have a look once on Java C test.java. Can you please read the compile error? Class test inherits unrelated defaults for m1 from types left and right. Can you please observe once again? class test inherits unrelated defaults for m1 from types left and right. This is the problem, correct or not? So in the case of default methods, there may be a chance of ambiguity problems, sir. If two interfaces contain the same default method, sir, then in the implementation class there may be a chance of ambiguity problem. How we can solve this problem? Very simple, sir. In the child class, in the implementation class, override this method based on your requirement. Yes, boss, I want to override, okay, public void m1 method. I'm overriding public void m1 method. Sir, here system.out.println my own implementation, like this I'm taking. Are you getting right? Sir, public void m1 my own implementation, like I'm taking. Sir, now complete different new implementation I'm taking, sir. This is one way, or otherwise there is another possibility is there, sir. Sir, for the test class, I don't want to provide new implementation. Sir, for this test, left implementation is required or right implementation is required. Whatever implementation you can require, you are allowed to specify, no problem at all. What is that possibility, right? Here, just which interface method you want. I want left interface method. Left dot super dot m1. Are you getting? Left dot super dot m1, like this. So instead of providing new implementation, sir, I want in the left interface default method for the test class. How we can able to take is interface name dot super dot m1, then the problem by default will be solved, sir. Is it clear for all of you, right? Sir, how we can declare, okay, how you can override, yes, default method in the implementation class, just like normal. Sir, I want a particular interface method, then how you can do the left dot super dot m1. Clear for all of you, right? Sir, let me execute this code, sir. Here, have a look once. Sir, I'm taking just class test, that's all. I didn't override, then automatically, do you know, the problem is going to come, sir. Class test inherit and so on, compare method we are getting. How I can solve this problem, sir? Better to take public void m1 method. Same prototype, sir. Public void m1. Here I'm taking system.out.println. System.out.println. Sir, my own implementation. Right? Okay, just I'm taking my own implementation like this. Can you please observe now the compile error will be solved or not? Have a look once. Happily the code is going to compile. Now if I want to write here, let me implement public static void main. Just I'm taking string array args. Public static void main string array args. Here my requirement is test t is equal to new test next t dot m1 method. Can you spell out which method will come, sir? Already override, right? Overriding version by default is going to come. Okay, the code compiles fine. Java test, if you observe, my own implementation is coming. Suppose assume that I don't want to provide new implementation, sir. I don't want to provide new implementation. I want left interface method. Right? How you can specify? How you can call, sir? Left dot super dot m1. Are you getting that? Left dot super dot m1. So for the test, m1 means which interface method, sir? Left interface method. Have a look once. The code compiles fine. Now left default method is coming. Sir, I don't want left, I want right. Then automatically just instead of this left, if you want right, then you can take here, just observe right dot super dot m1 method. Now onwards, which one acts as m1 for this test class is right interface method, right? Have you observed, right? Right default method is going to come. So I hope it's a very clear for you people, right? Okay, Make sure it's very clear for you people, right? What is if default methods may be a chance of ambiguity problem in the case of multiple inheritance? How you can solve this problem? Just simply override that method in the implementation class based on your requirement. While overriding, if you want, you can provide complete new implementation, or you can call parent interface methods only. If you want to call parent interface method, then how you can call interface name dot super dot method name we have to use. Clear for all of you, right? So this is a small twist is there in the case of default methods whenever multiple inheritance is there, sir. Clear for all of it? That's all, sir. I hope you people can aware, sir, what is the default method, how you can declare, what is the purpose, all those things I covered, right? Sir, most of the people are having the big doubt in their mind. If you add concrete methods to the interface, then what is the difference between abstract class and interface, right? Because from 1.8 version onwards, we can add concrete methods inside interface in the form of what? Default methods. Correct, right? Okay. Sir, if I add concrete methods to the interface, then where is the difference between interface and abstract class? Both will become equal, right? Like some people may have the doubt. No, sir. You know, default method concept present inside interface just to save implementation classes. It is not to provide meaningful, useful implementation, right? Sir, it's a dummy implementation. Implementation class, if you want you can use, otherwise you can ignore. If you want you can override, no problem at all. Just for that purpose only, this default method concept came, not to provide meaningful implementation, sir. Make sure. Sir, even you are adding concrete methods in the form of default methods to the interface, it never equal to abstract class. There are still lot of differences are there, sir. Sir, best example, inside interface, every variable is always what? Public, static, final. You can't declare instance variable inside interface. But inside abstract class, can I declare instance variable or not? Yes, which is required for the child class. Next, inside interface, even you are adding default method, is it possible to declare constructor? No, but abstract class can contain constructor, sir. Are you getting? Next, interface never talks about state of object, but abstract class can talk about state of object. Inside interface, you can declare instance block, you can declare static block, but inside abstract class, happily I can declare static block and instance block, sir. Next, interface which contain single abstract method. Of course, a number of default methods you can take. It can refer lambda expression, but abstract class never can't refer lambda expression, right? Are you able to understand? There are n number of differences are there between interface with the default methods and abstract classes. Sir, here don't compare, both are equal, no chance at all. Just let me summarize all these differences in the tabular form so that you people can able to get very easily. Have a look one, sir. Sir, differences between interface with the default methods and abstract classes. Okay, the first column I am taking interface with the default method, second column abstract class, right? Sir, very simple first point observe. Inside interface, every variable is always public, static, final. Have you remembered? Every variable present inside interface is always what? Public, static, final, whether we are declaring or not declaring, right? Sir, we can't declare instance variables. Regarding, it's not possible to declare instance variables, right? But inside abstract class, we can declare instance variables which are required to the child class. Remember, happily we can declare instance variable by default available to every child class. Possibility is there. Interface never talks about state of object. Have you remembered? Because it always talks about static variables only. It never talks about state of object because it doesn't contain any instance variable, right? But abstract class can talk about state of object. Yes, abstract class sometimes can talk about state of object, sir, because it can contain instance variables, right? Next, inside interface, we can't declare constructor. Can I declare constructor inside interface? No. By mistake, if you are trying to declare comparative method, you are going to get, because constructor purpose is to perform initialization for instance variable. But inside interface, no chance of instance variable. How you can declare constructor? What is the need of constructor for the interface? But inside abstract class, instance variables possibility is there or not? Yes. If instance variable is there, then compulsory we require to perform initialization. For that constructor concept applicable for the abstract class, right? Is it clear for all of you? Right? Next, sir, inside interface we can't declare instance and static blocks. Sir, make sure I can't declare instance and static blocks, right? But inside abstract class we can declare instance and static blocks, no problem at all. I can declare instance and static blocks. Are you able to understand, right? Next, functional interface with the default method can refer lambda expression. An interface certain point it can refer lambda expression, right? But abstract class can't refer lambda expressions, right? Clear for all of you, right? Next, inside interface we can't override object class methods. Have you remembered, right? Sir, in the interface, if I can take object class method as the default method, immediately comparative method we are going to get, sir. We can't override object class methods inside interface as the default method. But in the abstract class, any method of the object class happily we can override. Hash code method you can override, equals method you can override, toString method we can override, no problem at all, sir. Object class methods we can override inside abstract class. Have you observed? Inside abstract class we can override object class methods. That's why make sure, sir, interface with the default methods and abstract class never be equal. Still there are n number of differences are there. That's why can I conclude like this? Here interface with the default methods, interface with the default methods, okay, not equal to abstract classes, not equal to abstract classes. Make sure, sir, sometimes interview person may ask, array, if you can add concrete method not to the interface, then what is the difference between interface and abstract class? Sir, still n number of differences are there. These differences you can highlight in the interview room, sir. Are you in a position to understand, right? That's all, sir. These are various important loopholes about default method. Sir, what is default method? How to declare default method? Next, how I can use a default method in the implementation class? Next, is it possible to override default method inside interface or not? Object class default method inside interface or not possible? What is the reason for that? Next, if two interfaces contain default method with the same signature, in the implementation class there may be a chance of ambiguity problem. How you can solve this ambiguity problem? By overriding that method in the implementation class. How to override that part we explain with example. Next, what is the difference between interface with the default methods and the abstract class? Okay, clear for all of you, right? That's all. This is the story about default methods.